1. Reciprocity pressure. One of the most powerful psychological forces is the feeling of obligation. When someone does something small for you, gives a favor, help, compliment, or gift, you may feel an internal pressure to return it. This is known as reciprocity pressure. On the surface, it seems polite and human, but when used strategically, it becomes manipulation. People misuse this by offering help they know you didn't ask for, then later requesting something bigger in return. If you hesitate, they may remind you directly or indirectly of what they did for you. The brain dislikes imbalance, so many people comply just to relieve internal discomfort. This works because humans are socially conditioned to avoid appearing ungrateful. However, kindness does not create ownership over your decisions. You are allowed to receive help without surrendering your boundaries. To protect yourself, mentally separate gratitude from obligation. You can say thank you without saying yes. Ethical influence means offering help freely, not as leverage. Then, silence as psychological pressure. Silence is not always neutral. In many situations, silence is used deliberately to push the other person into agreement. After making a request, some people stop talking and stare, creating an uncomfortable pause. The other person, eager to escape the tension, may agree just to fill the silence. This tactic works because the human nervous system interprets prolonged silence as social threat or disapproval. Many people rush to fix it even at their own expense. Recognizing this is empowering. Silence does not mean you must respond immediately. It does not mean consent. You are allowed to pause, think, and respond when ready. Ethically, silence should be used for listening and reflection, not coercion. Confidence means being comfortable with pauses without forcing outcomes. 3. Framing choices to remove refusal. Another subtle tactic is offering choices that appear fair but are actually restrictive. For example, do you want to do this now or later? Both options assume compliance. The option to refuse entirely is missing. This works because the brain focuses on the options presented, not the options excluded. When framed correctly, people feel they are choosing freely when in reality, the decision has already been guided. To protect yourself, add your own option. Saying neither works for me or I choose not to do this restores your agency. You are not obligated to accept the frame someone else sets. Ethical communication involves presenting real choices, including the freedom to say no without punishment or guilt. 4. Emotional labeling to control the narrative. Emotional labeling can be supportive or manipulative. When misused, someone may label your emotions in a way that weakens your position. You're just insecure. You're overthinking. You're angry, that's why you're saying this. These statements shift focus away from the issue and onto your emotional state, subtly invalidating your perspective. Once labeled, people often feel defensive or confused, making them easier to control. This tactic works because humans seek emotional validation. When it's taken away, self-doubt increases. Protection lies in calm correction. You don't need to argue emotionally. A simple statement like, "That's not accurate, and it doesn't address my point," brings the conversation back to reality. Ethically, emotional labeling should be used to understand, not dominate. Empathy empowers, manipulation silences. 5. Social proof manipulation. Humans are deeply influenced by what others think and do. This is called social proof. When misused, people exaggerate agreement or popularity to pressure compliance. Everyone agrees with me. Most people do this. You're the only one who thinks differently. This works because humans fear exclusion. Being different triggers anxiety, even when logic says otherwise. The defense is simple but powerful. Ask for evidence. Popularity does not equal truth. Majority opinion does not override your values or reasoning. Ethical influence uses honest data and respects individual choice rather than exploiting fear of isolation. The deeper truth about control. Silent control may seem powerful, but it is fragile. It relies on fear, confusion, guilt, or pressure, and once recognized, it collapses. People who rely on manipulation often lack emotional security themselves. Real influence is built on trust instead of fear, clarity instead of confusion, boundaries instead of guilt, respect instead of control. Psychological awareness is not about mastering others, it is about mastering yourself. When you understand these tactics, you stop being an easy target. You listen more carefully, respond more slowly, and choose more consciously. That is real power.